What if the rifle you ignored for years, the one collecting dust in the back of your safe, could pay off your car or even a house? Right now, rifles once sold for pocket change are skyrocketing in value, and collectors are hunting them down like buried treasure. The scary part? Most owners have no idea they're sitting on a gold mine. Do you? Today, we're breaking down 20 rifles that are climbing fast in value, and by the end, you'll know if the one sitting in your hands is just another shooter or a fortune waiting to be cashed in. Let's get started. Number 20, Springfield M1903. The Springfield M1903 is one of the most iconic American service rifles of the 20th century. Adopted by the U.S. military in 1903 and carried through World War I, it became legendary for its accuracy and durability. Chambered in .30-06 Springfield, it featured a 5-round internal magazine and Mauser-style bolt action that made it a reliable battle companion in muddy trenches and harsh conditions. For decades, these rifles were sold as cheap surplus. In the 60s and 70s, you could walk into a hardware store and pick one up for under $100. Today, these rifles are long gone. Standard issue 1903s in good condition now sell for $1,200 to $2,000. Rare early models with low serial numbers, original finishes, and documented wartime use can climb into the $5,000 range. Sniper variants with scopes push even higher. Number 19, Estate Sale Winchester 94, 1941 model 94. The Winchester 94 has long been called the ultimate deer rifle, but early pre-war examples from 1940 are now exploding in collector value. Chambered in .30-30 with a smooth lever action and walnut stock, this rifle defined American hunting culture. For decades, you could find one on every ranch, and they often changed hands for a few $100s. Today, condition is everything. Original 1941 models with unaltered finishes or family provenance are fetching $2,500 to $3,500, while pristine versions or rifles with documented lineage can climb toward $5,000. Collectors love them because they're rifles that sat in gun cabinets for generations, now commanding serious money at auctions and estate sales. Number 18, LWRC M61C. Among modern tactical rifles, the LRWC M61C has carved out a special niche with collectors. Released as a top-tier AR-15 style rifle, it features a short-stroke gas piston system, cold hammer forged barrel, and ambidextrous controls, all wrapped in LWRC's signature attention to detail. Chambered in 5.56 NATO with a 16-inch barrel and a crisp trigger, it stood out for reliability in any environment. When new, these rifles retail for around $1,800, but today, clean examples are pulling closer to $2,500. Especially discontinued finishes like FDE or burned bronze. LWRC's limited runs and military-inspired builds give them scarcity value, and collectors now view the M61C not just as a workhorse, but as a premium AR that holds its value year after year. Number 17, Seiko TRG-42. In the world of precision rifles, few names carry as much respect as the Finnish-made Seiko TRG-42. Built for long-range accuracy, it's chambered in heavy hitters like .300 Winchester Magnum and .338 Lapua Magnum, cartridges trusted by military snipers worldwide. With its cold hammer-forged barrel, adjustable stock, and smooth bolt, the TRG-42 delivers sub-MOA accuracy straight out of the box. When it first hit the civilian market, these rifles could be found around $3,500. Today's values are climbing closer to $5,000, with military contract variants and limited runs commanding even more. Collectors prize them because they represent the peak of Scandinavian engineering in a rifle platform. And as demand for precision shooting grows, the TRG-42's place as a collectible investment only strengthens. Number 16, Winchester Model 69 697 variant. The Winchester Model 69 was a dependable 22 bolt-action rifle produced from the 1930s through the 1960s, but one variant has collectors chasing hard, the Model 697. Unlike the standard 69, the 697 was made to be telescopic sight only, with no iron sights at all. That design choice made it a rarity in Winchester's lineup, and scarcity is what drives its value today. A basic Model 69 might bring $300 to $500 depending on condition, but the elusive 697 variant can sell for several times that amount. Clean examples with original factory scope bases often push toward $2,000, reflecting collector demand. It's the kind of rifle that slips under the radar, but once you know what you're looking for, you realize you're holding something truly uncommon. Number 15, Marlin New Model 1895 4570. The Marlin New Model 1895 has become one of the most respected lever-action rifles of modern times, chambered in the powerful 4570 government. Known for its ability to handle everything from factory loads to hot hand loads, it earned a reputation as the go-to rifle for big game hunters across North America. Its rugged, side-ejected design and smooth action made it practical in the field, while its flexibility in custom builds and Wildcat versions has kept demand high. Originally retailing in the mid-$500 range decades ago, clean examples are now commanding $1,200 to $1,800. Limited-run versions or rifles in excellent condition can go much higher. Collectors love the 1895 because it bridges history and modern performance, making it both a workhorse and an appreciating asset. Number 14, Martin Model 336 444 Marlin variant. When Martin introduced the 444 Marlin in the mid-1960s, it was billed as the most powerful lever-action rifle in the world. Built on the proven Model 336 platform, it fired the massive 444 Marlin cartridge, offering hunters a serious alternative for big game like elk, bear, and moose. The rifle stood out with its long 24-inch barrel, solid side-eject design, and strong action, capable of handling the new cartridge's power. At the time, it sold for a modest price and was often overshadowed by the 4570, but today's collectors are taking notice. Standard examples in good condition now bring $1,500 to $2,000, with rarer early production rifles pushing even higher. Its combination of raw power and classic Marlin quality makes the 336 and 444 a rising star. Number 13, Marlin Model 336 ER 356 Winchester. Among Marlin lever actions, the 336 ER, chambered in 356 Winchester, is one of the rarest and most collectible, produced only between 1983 and 1986. Fewer than 2,500 were ever built, making it a true limited-run rifle. The 356 Winchester cartridge offered more power than the classic 30-30, giving hunters extra punch for larger game while keeping the same handy lever-action profile. Its 20-inch barrel, solid top receiver, and Marlin's signature side ejection made it both practical and rugged in the field. Back when new, it retailed for $400. Today, collectors pay $2,500 to $3,500 for clean examples, with mint-condition rifles going higher. The scarcity alone ensures that the 336 ER will only climb in value, cementing its place as a crown jewel in Marlin's lineup. Number 12, Winchester Model 67 22 Single Shot. The Winchester Model 67 was one of the most common .22 rifles of the 20th century. Introduced in 1934 and produced for decades, millions were sold as inexpensive starter rifles for young shooters, which is why most people overlook them. But certain rare variations have now made the humble Model 67 a surprising collectible. Standard examples might only fetch $200 to $300, but versions chambered in .22 or smoothbore training models can bring double or even triple that. The extremely rare Model 677, a telescopic-only variant, is valued at nearly 10 times the base rifle, sometimes reaching $2,000 or more. Collectors chase these rifles not because of their firepower, but because scarcity and oddball variants make them hidden gems in Winchester's history. Number 11, Winchester Model 1894 Post 64. The Winchester 1894 is one of the most famous rifles in American history, but collectors usually chase the pre-1964 models. That doesn't mean the later rifles should be ignored. Post-64 production saw design changes like stamped parts and less hand-fitting, which made them less desirable at first. But time has shifted perception. These rifles are now 50 to 60 years old, and clean examples are appreciating steadily. Standard carbines chambered in .30-30 Winchester that once sold for $300 are now pushing $800 to $1,200. While not as valuable as the earlier runs, they remain an iconic piece of hunting heritage. Collectors are realizing that even post-64 versions represent the continuation of a legend, and values continue to rise as supply tightens. Number 10, Winchester 68-22 Rifle. The Winchester Model 68 may look almost identical to its sibling, the Model 67, but collectors know it hides some valuable surprises. Produced between 1934 and 1945, the 68 was essentially an upgraded single-shot .22 with factory aperture sights, giving it more appeal to target shooters of the era. Most sold cheaply back then, making them seem ordinary, but today, rarity drives the value. Standard chamberings bring $300 to $500, yet rifles in .22 WRF are worth nearly 3 times as much. Smoothbore training models and special run variants fetch even more. With its short production run and lower numbers compared to the 67, the Model 68 is quickly becoming a favorite among Winchester collectors, proving that even simple rimfires can grow into serious investments. Number 8, M1 Garand. Few rifles carry the same historical weight as the M1 Garand. Adopted by the U.S. military in 1936 and carried through World War II and Korea, General Patton famously called it the greatest battle implement ever devised. Chambered in .30-06 Springfield with an 8-round en-bloc clip, it offered semi-automatic firepower when most armies still relied on bolt actions. For decades, surplus M1 Garand sold for $200 to $400 through the civilian marksmanship program. Today, prices have surged. Standard service grades now sell between $1,500 and $2,500, while rare variants like the M1C and the M1D sniper models can reach $5,000 to $8,000. Collectors prize them for their wartime history, rugged design, and cultural significance. The M1 Garand is no longer just surplus, it's a blue-chip collectible. Number 7, Winchester Model 1894 Pre-64. If there's one rifle that defines the American lever-action legacy, it's the Winchester 1894. Pre-1964 models stand at the very top of collector demand because of their craftsmanship, fit, and finish. Chambered most famously in .30-30 Winchester, these rifles were the workhorse of hunters and ranchers for decades. Unlike later versions, the pre-64s used milled steel parts and walnut stocks, giving them a feel of quality that modern rifles struggle to match. Clean carbons from this era now command $1,500 to $3,000, with rare calibers or pristine unfired examples going much higher. Collectors often view them as both a piece of American frontier heritage and a blue-chip investment. Simply put, if you own a pre-64 Model 94, you're holding one of the most dependable, appreciating rifles. Number 6, Winchester Pre-64 Model 70 250-3000 Savage. The Winchester Model 70 is already known as the rifleman's rifle, but chamberings in unusual calibers send collector interest through the roof. One of the rarest is the Pre-64 Model 70, chambered in 250-3000 Savage. Introduced in 1939, the 250-3000 was the first commercial cartridge to break 3,000 feet per second, which gave it legendary status among hunters of the time. Very few Model 70s were produced in this chambering, making them highly desirable today. Standard Pre-64 rifles can bring $1,500. 250-3000 Savage are listing for $7,500 and rising. Condition and originality are key. Rifles with unaltered stocks, correct sights, and matching parts fetch top dollar in a perfect storm of rarity, ballistic innovation, and Winchester history. Number 5, FN-FAL, nicknamed the right arm of the free world. The FN-FAL became one of the most widely adopted battle rifles of the Cold War era. Chambered in 7.62 by 51 NATO, it featured a gas-operated action, adjustable regulator, and rugged design that made it reliable in nearly every climate. Adopted by over 90 countries, the FAL gained legendary status as the Western counterpart to the AK-47. Civilian imports were once plentiful, with rifles selling for under $600 in the 1980s. Today, original Belgian and pre-banned FN imports command $3,000 to $4,500, with rare configurations reaching higher. Collectors chase them, not only for their Cold War pedigree, but also because import restrictions keep supply limited. The FN-FAL remains both a historical icon and a rising value collectible. Number 4, M14. The M14 was America's battle rifle for only a short window, but its impact was massive. Chambered in 7.62 by 51 NATO, it combined the reliability of the M1 Garand with a detachable 20-round box magazine and selective fire, adopted in 1955. It served in the early years of Vietnam before being replaced by the M16. Despite its short service life, the M14 gained a reputation for power, accuracy, and durability. Civilian versions like the Springfield Armory M1A became popular with shooters and collectors alike. In the 1980s, you could buy one for under $700. But those days are long gone. Today, clean M14s or early M1A rifles bring $2,500 to $4,000, with rare military-marked originals fetching far more. Scarcity and history keep driving prices upward. Number 3, Winchester 1895. The Winchester 1895 stands apart from the company's other lever actions because it was designed for smokeless powder and modern cartridges. Unlike the tubular magazines of earlier models, the 1895 used a box magazine, allowing it to chamber Spitzer-style bullets like the .30-40 Krag and .30-06 Springfield. This innovation made it a favorite for hunters and even militaries, with the Russian Empire ordering nearly 300,000 rifles during World War I. Theodore Roosevelt famously carried one chambered in .405 Winchester on his African safari, further cementing his reputation. For decades, surplus 1895s could be had for a few $100s. Today, standard examples bring $2,000 to $3,500, while rare calibers or Roosevelt-style rifles can top $6,000. The 1895's mix of history and engineering make it a must-have. Number 2, Heckler & Koch HK-41 1966 Originals. Before the civilian HK-91 became a staple in the U.S. market, Heckler & Koch released the HK-41, produced in very limited numbers during 1966. These semi-automatic rifles were essentially civilian legal versions of the legendary G3 battle rifle. What makes them so collectible today is their early push-pin receiver design, which closely mirrors the military issue, and the fact that fewer than 400 were ever made. Chambered in 7.62 by 51 NATO, they offered Cold War firepower in a civilian package. Originally, they sold for under $500, but today, prices tell a very different story. Average condition examples fetch $7,000 to $12,000, while pristine originals can command $30,000 or more. For collectors, the HK-41 is one of HK's most desirable rifles ever built. Number 1, Walther WA-2000. At the very top of the list is the Walther WA-2000, a rifle so rare that it has achieved near mythical status among collectors. Built as a semi-automatic bullpup sniper rifle in the late 1970s, Only 176 were ever produced across 3 generations. Chambered in calibers like .300 Winchester Magnum and 7.62 NATO, it was designed for unmatched precision with a heavy barrel, adjustable stock, and futuristic bullpup configuration that placed the action behind the trigger. Despite its cutting-edge design, the rifle was too expensive for mass adoption and production quietly ended. Originally priced at several $1,000s, today, a second-generation WA-2000 can bring $50,000 to $75,000 at auction. It's the definition of a crown jewel, a rifle that embodies rarity, innovation, and collector prestige. And that wraps up our countdown of the 20 rifles climbing fast in value this year. Now, if you want to push your knowledge even further, don't stop here. Check out our next video where we reveal the shotguns that are rising just as quickly and see if you might already own one of them.